It is a Mindful Monday, and we are talking about the process of saying goodbye this morning. Dr. Corey Gonzalez, a local clinical psychologist, is joining us this morning to talk about ways to do that in a healthy way. Dr. Corey, thanks for coming in. We appreciate it.
Good morning, Maddie. How are you?
Good morning. I'm good. And when I saw this topic for this morning, I thought that it may have come from you.
Yes.
And I was thinking back on how many years I have been interviewing you, and you have been teaching me so many things.
Yeah.
And now we're talking about saying goodbye as I get ready for a new chapter here, leaving KGET.
It's emotional, Maddie. You've touched a lot of people, a lot of viewers out there, and we'll get that at the end of this because we'll get emotional. So, but as we know, the only constant in life is change. And this ever-changing life, the wheel in the sky just keeps turning, right? It just doesn't stop. And so we don't have control over change, but what we have control over is how we cope with change. And we cope with change, we want to create some kind of ritual to a platform to express this stuff, because there's a lot of complex emotions that come up. So it's important that we do learn to say goodbye, and we learn how to put closure on things. It helps our emotional regulation to look at these things and work through this stuff. And you know, there's a famous psychologist, Daniel Siegel, used to say that when we have strong emotions, sometimes to put a word on it, to name it, tame it.
Okay.
In other words, when you put a word on an emotion, it helps balance it out. And
I am feeling sad.
And it helps you regulate those emotions. It helps you to buffer from future change. It helps you be emotionally healthy.
Okay.
So it's important that we have, you know, these rituals, these platforms to do it. And obviously there's certain ways to do it. As you've seen the tips, I've talked about the importance of conceptualizing the beginning and the middle, the end. You think about your 14 years here, and we're going to get to that in a moment, but and for you to express gratitude, right?
Right.
And we're probably going to have another show on this. This is a process, this termination stuff. You know, it's worth it. But also for you to be receptive to others expressing gratitude for you, and savor that, because all of us have to have the ability to not only give love, but receive love. And we want to make this process, you know, purposeful, meaningful, growth promoting. We want to tie up any loose ends, obviously. And we do want to say goodbye to this. There's going to be people like Alex and Kevin and so forth where saying, I'm not saying goodbye, we're going to still stay in touch. But you are saying goodbye to this.
Right.
Because it's going to be different.
Things are going to be different.
Yeah.
And you know, so many people maybe just don't want to acknowledge it. Like you said, you know, they don't want to talk about those feelings. They think it may be easier if they just kind of push it under the rug and move on to the next thing. But that could come back to haunt you later and could cause you some of that anxiety. Whereas if you experience it, you're going to really appreciate the experience for what it was. And we're not just talking about a big life change. I mean, there are so many different life changes, right? We could talk about saying goodbye to a loved one who you've lost.
No, it comes in all different ways. But you know, Freud used to say that a lot of depression stemmed from unresolved grief.
Oh, wow.
So it is important that we put all these chapters of our life in order. This is our book. And it's important that we're able to look back on this and not deny them and integrate them to be healthy. And I think about you, and I think about the 14 years, you know, I remember you're a young field reporter, right? Yeah,
it's actually been 15, almost 16 years.
Coming out to my office.
Right.
And, you know, just, you represent a lot of things that Kern County loves. You walked in looking for a job off the street. You know, the American dream is still alive.
Yeah, I remember coming and knocking on the former news director's door and luckily got hired here in 2009 and got to interview you and so many incredible people in our community and learn from you through the process and really grow up at this station.
And we watch you grow up. And you know, your authenticity is unique. You are who you are.
Right.
Your compassion, your love for family, your faith. When my wife and I watched you when you had that little snowball fight with your boys, that was the most endearing, touching. We were in tears. I texted you and told you, Maddie, you're killing me.
It was good times.
It was so sweet. And the journalism, the digital addiction special you did, that was profound. You really impacted Kern County. I mean, that whole thing, I've had people talk about that, the importance of that. And we've seen your heartbreaks too, Evan.
Right. We've my brother.
You know, and Justin, and you know, just all your loved ones, your beautiful children. So we've watched you grow up, and it's just been, you know, it's been pure joy to watch all this. You have been developed from this young person to what you are now, and a lot of people are going to want to say goodbye. You've started their day for them, and you've warmed a lot of people's hearts, and I hope that you're receptive as you go along this next month or two, because you'll be done at the end of next month. that you're receptive to this and you savor this and you bask in this and you enjoy this and realize and put closure on this.
It is very healing to acknowledge it and because it is, I even feel the, the desire to say like, well, let's not make a big deal about this. Let's move on. And I kind of debated whether or not to even post things on social media, but it feels so good to hear from folks who have watched for so many years and then to express my gratitude to them for watching. So I do encourage people to embrace the feelings. A lot of people now say, feel all of the feelings.
Yeah.
And I think that that's so healthy to recognize that joy and sorrow can go hand in hand.
Yeah.
And to accept that and embrace it because that's what makes life so rich.
Yeah, and you have been rich and you've been a gem for our community. And I'm glad that you're present, you're enjoying this. And the next month or two, you're going to get more of it. And I just want you to savor it.
I will.
I know it's emotional, but it's important.
It's definitely emotional.
Yeah.
You're going to make me cry. Dr. Corey, thank you so much.
You're
we
welcome,
appreciate
Maddie.
you so much.
Yeah.
Oh, you're such a good friend. All right, and so your time is 6:47. We'll be right back after this.